What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the 490, and it's once again time for Premier League predictions. We've had a ton of accumulator winners for the members over the last few days, so I'm just going to show you them there. Last night, we had the above evens treble, Man United win 0, Barcelona and over 1.5 goals, Porto and under 3.5 goals at 9.69. We had the favourites fourfold, the Premier League Saturday treble. I thought that one was really cool. Bundesliga, both teams to score, fourfold, always a favourite of mine. The Thursday fourfold, Atalanta over 2.5 goals, Man City -1, Juventus to win, and Villarreal, Real Madrid, both teams to score. And yesterday, we were one goal away from a massive near 70-1 accumulator winner. I'll show you it. It was a result on both teams to score mega accumulator. I think the value in those are absolutely crazy. I had Leipzig, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and PSG all to win and both teams to score. And as you can see, we were very close. 3-1 Leipzig, 2-1 Barca, 3-1 PSG, but 4-0 Bayern Munich. Mental. One of the perks that the members get is a shout out in my next video, and we had nearly 30 members join the TF90 Super Tipsters, so I'm just going to rattle off their names really quickly. So massive shout out to Mario C, Unruly JN, Bill Clement, Everything Football, Bonjani, Radibi, King MLK, Richard Amansi, De Lorax, Casper Nielsen, Marks Neo, Defasahai, Ritato, Tatohatsi Mthembu, Jean-Luc Ludukanda, Regilon, Yapath Blanda, TM, Dawkins, Nana Debonair, Richard Hughes, Rod TV, Millie G, Fadi Saber, Daraj Smith, Oj A, Joshua Ike, Brendan Crossland, and Paul in South Africa. You're all absolute legends. If you want to get exclusive members tips, and more often these days just actual accumulators rather than individual tips, then feel free to click the join button down below to support the channel. If the join button's not there, try the link in the description and you can join the TF90 Super Tipsters. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I did tell the members this, but I haven't made a video since. So long story short, as you guys may or may not know, I've been ill for about the last month and a half, but the past week has been the absolute worst. I came off antibiotics, thought I was getting better, and then I ended up in A&E. I was there for 10 hours. A&E is accident and emergency in hospital. I was on a drip for a little bit. I've been bedbound for the last few days, so I'm going to keep the energy as low as possible. Doctor's orders. I'm just going to try and get through and make this video for you so you have my predictions and tips. It's not going to be spectacular. If you just want to skip through and see the tips, that's fine, but I've got to try and rest my voice as much as possible because I'm not in a good way, but I didn't want to miss this video for you all. So if you're wondering why the energy has been low throughout this video and will continue to be that until I get better, that is why. And to all the members that saw that post and sent me lovely messages, I read all of them and I sincerely appreciate it. First up is Chelsea versus Fulham. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Chelsea. Let me just put that on my notes so I remember that. I think Chelsea are going to win. They've done an absolute madness this transfer window. Fulham starting to get found out a little bit. Losing to Tottenham as I predicted, losing to Newcastle. I actually need to speed this up. I can't explain too much. Just tell you my picks and the tips and everything else. 2-0 Chelsea. Chelsea to win and over 1.5 goals at 2. After that, Everton up against Arsenal. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Arsenal. My tip is Arsenal to win and under 3.5 goals at 2.1. So massive increases there for Chelsea from 1.6 to 2 and Arsenal from 1.4 to 2.1 just by saying less than 4 goals in this game and over 1 goal in this game. I think that's very likely. I think a little London double could do very well. And we actually recently had a winning accumulator for the members with the Arsenal and Chelsea double up of wins. So I think that's something to look at. After this, Aston Villa up against Leicester. This one's a very difficult one to predict. I'm actually unsure on this result. I might change my prediction. I've got a 2-1 win to Aston Villa written down, and it does look like Aston Villa should win, but I do think Leicester are decent. I'll stick with my guns for a 2-1 win to Aston Villa. Could be a 2-2 draw, could be a 1-1 draw, but regardless of any of those results, my tip would come in, which is why I've picked it. Both teams to score at 1.75. After this, Brentford, Southampton. Look at this red. Look at this lack of red. I'm going for a 2-1 win to Brentford at home. My tip is Brentford to win here. 1.84. Good value for that one. Brighton up against Bournemouth. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Brighton. My tip is Brighton to win at a -1 handicap, so by 2 or more goals. I think they're going to do that. I correctly predicted Bournemouth to draw 1-1 with Forest and predicted they lose to Brentford, Man United, Crystal Palace and Chelsea. It's pretty easy to predict the Bournemouth results. I'm going for a 3-0 win to Brighton. The -1 handicap is at nearly evens, 1.95. After this, Man United up against Crystal Palace. Palace will be rested more so than Man United. Obviously, Man United making it to the final of the League Cup. However, I do think Man United are just better than Palace. That 1-1 draw they got recently against them, which I believe is here, it could have been 1-0, just a wonder goal. I'm going for a 2-0 win to Man United. I really like what they're doing. My tip is Man United win to 0 at 2.1. And as you saw by the winning accumulator, that also came in for the Nottingham Forest fixture. Wolves, Liverpool. I think Wolves can get a goal because Liverpool have been a bit suspect at the back. Obviously losing to Brighton in the FA Cup. That was another tip I gave to members, was both teams to score in that game as opposed to looking at the outright Liverpool market. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Liverpool. And because the value is there here, 1.86 for a Liverpool win. As dodgy as they have been here, Brighton, Brentford and Chelsea, it's not great. They are better than Wolves, and I think they're going to win. So my tip is Liverpool to win at 1.86. So I think that's fair enough. I would say that's a fair value, something that's likely to happen. Those odds mean it's about 50%, just a bit higher, 55% for Liverpool to win. That's what that suggests. And Liverpool against Wolves, even away, I'd look at that in my head as like 65%. So I think you're just winning a little bit there. Newcastle, West Ham. I mean, I'm going for a home win. I'm going for 2-0. I think Newcastle are going to do it. Newcastle through to the final of the League Cup. I forgot about a bet I actually made about a month ago. And it was actually 3 outright winners. And it was Newcastle to win the League Cup, Man City to win the FA Cup, and Arsenal to win the Premier League. And I thought the bet had lost because when Newcastle lost to Brighton in the FA Cup, for some reason I thought that was the League Cup. So I thought that bet was done, and I saw it was still on. So hopefully Newcastle win the League Cup, Arsenal win the league, and then Man City win the FA Cup. All 3 of which, by the way, are the favourites currently to win those respective competitions. And I got in on it at about odds of about 75 to 1. And then the odds now are about 9 to 1. So you can see how much more likely it's got, because that was before Arsenal beat Man United, Spurs and all that. Forest, Leeds. Could be a close game. Leeds could nick it. Forest could nick it. Gonna go for a 1-1 draw. My tip there is both teams score 1.7. My tip here is just Newcastle to win, by the way. 1.61. Tottenham, Manchester City. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Manchester City. My tip is Man City to win at 1.71, because if the odds for Man City, let's say they're at the Etihad or whatever, were, I don't know, 1.5, I'd stretch it to Man City to win and both teams to score just for a bit of value. And whilst Tottenham do have a little bit of a number on Man City, so to speak, they absolutely bottled it last time they played them, and I think Man City can get another win against Spurs like they did recently with both teams scoring, but I think the value there is good enough. And here I believe we have some kind of postponed fixture that I didn't know, so I don't know the result of this one, but to me, I'm going for another 2-0. I do think Man United's defence is just really, really good. Could be 2-1, could be 3-1, but for the purpose of this video, I don't have a tip because I'd just be making it up, but we'll go 2-0 to Man United. So these are my picks. Now let's get over. I'll make a little treble or double or something for you guys for watching this far into the video. I mean, I'm actually so confident on all these results that I would go as far as to say this 6-fold looks good. Obviously, with this many things that could go wrong, it's not super likely, but I mean, Arsenal should beat Everton, Newcastle should beat West Ham, Brighton should beat Bournemouth, Chelsea, but they should all happen. So that could be one to consider. We'll call it the 6-fold mega acca. Honestly, I might as well add the Man United one too to make it 20 to 1 just to be satisfying. The 7-fold mega acca. This is a really nice above evens treble because I could see Arsenal, Man United and Chelsea, 3 of the biggest clubs in the Premier League. I think the 3 clubs in the Premier League with the most points of all time in the Premier League getting the job done in a game that doesn't have 4 or more goals, all of which evens are above. About 9.5. I think that looks good too, so take your pick. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, bearing with me. I hope you get some value out of the tips, the accumulated stuff provided. Thank you for the support, and I will see you in the next video, struggling a little bit, very soon.